Well, it looks like once again the power of many bad writers cannot write a good show. It's it's almost as if we knew this was going to happen. Episode 7 dropped and man, it keeps getting worse and
It really
confusing.
does. Look, it's confusing, it's nonsense, it just keeps getting worse. It's like with every episode, they just dig their hole a bit deeper. You said that at the end of this episode, you feel more confused.
Mhm. Yeah, this is the episode that's supposed to give us answers, and I guess they did that in I guess the worst way possible. There's supposed to be this big, guilt about what happened with the
Mhm.
coven and the sisters. And I get maybe Soul's guilt with, kind of feeling responsible for
Sure.
Osha wants to go with them and then he chooses her over the other twin and that kind of stuff. But I thought this was going to be way more horrific. I thought they were going to be like gunning down all the witches and everything. But dude, everything the witches were doing in this episode was straight up evil.
Yeah, yeah. So let's do a quick, like just a very quick recap if people may have missed the episode. So basically, it's the back in time story from the Jedi's perspective. We already
Mhm.
got episode 3 was from the witch's perspective. Now we get a different perspective. And they're on the planet looking for a virgins.
A virgins, yes.
And so all of a sudden Jedi are now freaking doing the same thing ET does.
Mhm.
Looking for plants and force sensitive
Yeah, that
things.
was weird that they have master Jedi on this planet looking for Jedi stuff. Like, the explanation I guess you could say that the explanation makes sense. It's like, "Oh, well, 100 years ago, we cataloged this planet, and it was nothing. And now,
Mhm.
all of a sudden, there's life here that does need to be explored, but does it need to be explored by the Jedi? Was that ever they're a peacekeeping
Yes,
organization.
yes, they're a peacekeeping organization. It's just so different. Look, this is
Mhm.
so different than anything we've ever seen the Jedi do or what the Jedi's purpose is, that it just comes across as forced and unnecessary and something that we're never asking for from Star Wars, right? Um, and so they're looking for something called the Vergence, which is basically a pocket of force energy that
Mhm.
springs up and is very powerful, and they need to explore it. They need to see if there's a Vergence somewhere on this planet and obviously we get the whole story going in. They, from their perspective, Soul is interested in getting a Padawan, and he keeps saying, "No, it's what she wants. It's what she wants." But the
Yeah,
other
also,
Jedi's
this is the dumbest, way of explaining kind of Soul's intentions. Like, "Oh, I
right.
feel connection with this person because they're force sensitive. Also, I want a Padawan."
Hmm.
The driving goal for this is wanting a Padawan. That'd be like if Qui-Gon was like, "Wow, this kid Anakin, he's really something special, but and I really just kinda wish I had another Padawan too. I'm
Right.
really feeling like I need a Padawan."
Right, right. It really is nonsense. And then you have Torben, where his motivation is, "I just want to go back home."
Yeah, I
Right.
wanna go home.
I wanna go home. It's such a dumb like, he's the springboard that leads to all the chaos at the end of
Yeah,
the
Padawans used to
episode.
be made of tougher material than this.
And also, like, by the time they get to his age, he's not supposed to be, like, a super young
No.
Padawan. He should be able to be more in control.
Dude, like, Anakin at his age was hardcore.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
Obi-Wan was hardcore.
It took a super Sith Lord to to decay his moral boundaries, you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
And Torben's just, like, motivated by, "I wanna go home."
Yeah, it's almost like his thing is, "Let's get this over with so we can go.
Oh, but
We
it
found the
literally
virgins, it's the girls, let's go home."
also, like, when you talking about the whole evil thing, so in episode 3, we see that Mother Anastasia hypnotizes him, and then in this
Mhm.
episode, we see what's going on in his head, and she has this weird freaking back and forth between,
Oh,
like,
it's
"Do you
dude,
have
it's
sexual
it's
desire?"
predatory. I
It's
think she's
so freaking dumb.
alluding to, you have a natural desire, which is I don't wanna be here,
I want to go home.
right? I wanna go home. That's a natural desire. You should follow that, right?
Yeah.
Um,
It's so
it's it's
stupid.
so dumb. That's so bad.
It's the
Uh
weakest character motivation I've
mhm.
ever seen. It's
He's
I
like,
just wanna go home.
and then you realize his whole thing when he jumps on the speeder. He's like, "The girls are the virgins. We gotta get them so we can go home."
And
Uh,
I thought for sure, look, we had a good bit of, as we saw coming, the witches controlling the minds of
mhm,
Kalnaka. There's a big fight between Kalnaka, the Wookiee, and then Sol and Torben.
mhm.
Um, and then freaking, what's her name? Endara, right? Shows up and just slaughters all of them.
Yeah.
Right? So Indara jumps on the Wookiee to try to take his mind back from being controlled, and in the process of getting his mind back, all the witches get killed?
Yeah, like, these are some pretty weak witches. They kinda suck.
So they were in this group chant, all right,
Mhm.
trying to control, like, all together, holding hands, doing the whole, you know, you getting freaking Avatar vibes, like, with
Yeah, a
the
little bit,
tree
yeah.
and the holding of the hands and the freaking
Mhm.
meditation, whatever. So yeah, she just slaughters him with by herself through Kalnaka's brain.
Right. That's insane. They keep doing these things that make no sense. Like,
Right.
her doing that and it killing all the witches. Um, Soul deciding, "Okay, I have to follow them. What's the best way to do this? Start climbing. Don't use my force powers to jump up these mountains.
Just climb
Just
and climb
climb,
and
dude."
climb.
And
Now
it looked like it took him hours to do
yeah,
this the first time, and then the second time, they're like, "Alright, let's get up there. It's gonna take, like, minutes."
right. So let's touch on this for a second. So you said everything that the witches do is just straight up evil, and I 100%
Mhm.
agree with you. So it's like what's the point? Like literally I don't know if Leslie Headland and the creators and writers of this is so dense that they make them look evil and abusive and manipulative to children,
Yeah.
and then they're still trying to redeem, like, Mother Anastasia, like she was still good, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, she did
And
some
then and
horrible
then,
stuff.
like, the girl runs out, she there's fire behind her, she's covered in smoke, and she's like, There's fire, I'm in danger." And part of Soul's, reasoning is he thinks this is dangerous for
Yes,
these children, which makes sense.
correct. It's
That's
correct.
understandable, and he's correct. So Mother Anastasia goes, "Alright, don't worry, I'll take care of this." It starts turning into this cloud of darkness
What was the
and
point?
starts turning the child into a cloud of darkness. And
Right.
so Saul makes the reasonable decision and is like, "Okay, let's stop this.
Yeah, this is not
Uh,
good.
this can't be good."
No, this is dark. He had it right. This is dark,
Mhm.
evil magic is what he says, I think.
Right.
And he's right. And honestly, every perspective that he has, yes, these women are manipulative and abusive and bad for the children. He was right. He was right. They're honestly the only thing that he should feel guilt about is choosing Osha over May at the end there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like the only thing that there should be guilt about this. Not killing Mother Anastasia, none of that, because she
And
was
and
straight up
the
evil.
and the cover up, obviously, they cover it up,
Yeah, the cover up, which is
which
so outside of the of
none of this tracks for Jedi.
none. They're much more disciplined than this, especially
Ye
Jedi Masters.
I cannot I can't imagine seeing Obi-Wan and maybe Anakin in, after the Attack of the Clones,
Right.
but Obi-Wan and
Qui-Gon
Qui-Gon
Jinn,
would they
no.
never do something like this.
Never, never. And this is so outside, like the whole group. Like
Mhm.
if one person had that bad idea, the group would not agree to that bad idea. I
Yeah.
don't care. Like you can't just have Indara being like, we're going to tell him the truth. We're going to manipulate the facts to make it seem like something happened that we didn't cause, right?
And you think that the council is just gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, no. All of that makes perfect sense." You don't think they're gonna be sitting up there, like, looking at each other as
Like,
they straight up lie to them?
yeah.
to be like,
Didn't we
no.
tell them before all this happened to
Right.
stop in your tracks? Why did they
Right,
go back
exactly.
to
Why
the
is each one of these people lying, right? The Padawan especially should be an easy get.
Yeah. But once he's home, he's ironclad,
Dude,
right?
he's ironclad, yeah. The greatest Jedi becomes a master in, like, 10 years or something
As
after
long as
this,
he's home, as long
as
as
long
he's
as he's
home.
home.
Um,
There's no place like home.
man, this show just keeps getting worse. I think this is obviously supposed to be the big reveal. This is supposed to answer questions. This was supposed to reveal the big bad thing that the Jedi did. And ultimately,
Mhm.
like, I'm like, well,
And I keep thinking of the meme, from what's his face, from Daniel Craig in Glass Onion, where they're like, "Oh, it's so dumb, it's brilliant." And he's like, "No, it's just
it's
dumb.
just
It's just
you're
dumb."
just an idiot. Yeah.
It really is, it's some of the worst dialogue writing and character scenes, and boy, the speeder scene where Soul jumps on it, rides to the Force, and then stops, and it's like, you know, a PNG image
Right.
stopping in the forest. I love
Yeah.
that.
It's really, really horrible graphics there. But yeah, we, without taking it scene by scene, I think
Mhm.
overall I'm just so incredibly disappointed by what this reveal was supposed to be. This is like
Mm.
2 weeks in a row where there's like a reveal of some sort and disappointing. It's useless, it's pointless, it's such a waste,
I will
honestly.
say, Mother Coral escaped, turned into Cloud.
Yeah, and she wasn't in the meditation circle.
Mhm. So,
So
that's
she's
coming
gonna
into
come back
play.
into play
Oh,
next
yeah.
episode for sure. And, and honestly, when it comes down to it, I think outside of lying to the outside of lying to the council, I don't think the Jedis were at fault here. Not
Not
even
too
by a
I
little
don't
bit.
think they were at fault too much.
Not
I
at
think
all.
may see, I think what they were trying to do with this episode is a little bit of kinda Waco vibes. You
Right.
know what
Yep.
happened at
Yep.
Waco, right?
Yep. Yep.
With
Yep.
they believe that the kids are, being
Yep.
abused, so the
Just
ATF
mass murder.
basically goes in there and kills everybody,
Mhm.
and that's what they're going for. The Jedi are the ATF, and it's a Waco situation.
That's a really good, cross comparison, and it kinda motivates the same idea of Star Wars is, like, trying to live in the gray moral conundrum area,
Mhm,
where if you're talking about yes, there are shows for that. Game of Thrones does it very well, alright?
mhm.
Star Wars has never been that.
Yeah,
Star Wars should
it's
not be
about good and
make
evil.
it's about good and evil, alright? And the ability to be corrupted to be evil if you are not strongly against it, right?
Mhm.
And
Right, and there's this misconception of balance of the Force,
right.
and I wanna say that George explained it way back saying that the light is balance,
Mhm.
that the good is balance, that the Jedi is balance,
Yes.
and that the dark side, throws off that balance and is evil, and they
Yeah.
don't create you don't have to have both for there to be balance. The good is the balance.
Right, and that's why the Jedi are so disciplined and so structured and orderly because they know if they start doing crap like this, it becomes
Mhm,
imbalanced, right?
mhm,
And but they just want to create Star Wars stories that's like in this gray area. And I'm sorry, this is not the genre or the story or the galaxy far, far away that's supposed to be operating in the gray area. It is good versus evil and redemption from evil. That's what Star Wars is, and it's blasphemy to try to make it something different, in my
yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't feel like Star Wars. It
No.
feels like the Star Wars skin suit that has been talked about.
No, it feels like something completely foreign with lightsabers. That's what it
Mhm.
is. It's not Star Wars. It's another story where they dress up like Jedi and use lightsabers. That's all it is. Um, Let us know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear what your guys' reactions are to this episode of The Acolyte. We got one more episode to go.
Ooh.
Um, and and we're going to see how they try to put a bow on this thing, but I have a strong sense that there's not going to be a bow put on this at all. So, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. We'll see you next time.